Ayla was born in 2019. When I fell pregnant on her, there was no signs of any complications or any fluid around her head or anything, so I didn't choose to have any amniocensis or any genetic testing done, because to me it didn't matter whether she had a genetic condition or not. I wouldn't change the love I had for her. So, and I didn't want to put her through that. So after the scans and all, I just decided that it wasn't for me, and whatever she had or what she didn't have, she would just be herself. So I continued my pregnancy, and I had an okay pregnancy. I ended up getting a clot in my left leg when I was pregnant with her, so I had to be induced. Because the risk of me getting the clot spread into my lungs was high, so I had to end up getting a filter in my neck, and there was a 50-50 chance that would never come out, but thankfully it did. And then Ayla was born on the 7th of March 2019, and she weighed 5.5 pounds. And then it wasn't until after she was born that the doctors noticed that she had what they call facial feature abnormalities, which I hate because they're the things that I love about Ayla. So they noticed that she had low set ears and a high roof palate, and her eyes were closer together than another typical child, as they like to say. So then she went up to the NICU, and she, because she had jaundice at that time as well, but when she was up there she ended up having a seizure, so she was transferred to ICU. And then again she had another little seizure, so she was kept in ICU for about a week and a half. And while she was in ICU they sent off for genetic testing, but it took about a month probably to come back. So in that time then we got home after a week and a half, but she actually ended up back in Crumlin before we had got the results, because she became quite poorly because she was having trouble breathing, so she actually had bronchiolitis, which we later found out was because Ayla was aspirating her milk. So what that means is when Ayla's drinking from a bottle, it goes down the wrong way and it goes into her lungs. So she was kept for 2 weeks, and then we got home for 3 days and she was rushed back in again because it had the same thing had happened. And then when we were rushed back in, she was rushed to ICU because she got so unwell that it was building up in her lungs, the fluid from the bottles. So then when she was in ICU, we found out that Ayla not only had Edwards syndrome but had a combination of Down syndrome and Edwards syndrome, which is very uncommon. They said that they didn't know any other living child in the world who had it. There was only one baby in America who had it before and sadly passed away. So it was extremely, we didn't really know what to expect, but at the same time when Ayla was in ICU, we had a meeting with all her doctors, and I walked into the meeting and the doctor sat me down, and the first thing he said to me was, "I think you should make Ayla comfortable." And I stood up and I said, "What do you mean, make her comfortable?" And he goes, "I think you should make her comfortable and just let her pass." And I said, "What?" Like, no one had ever talked to me about like her being sick. Like, I knew that she had Down syndrome and Edwards syndrome, and obviously I knew that there was like it was a life-limiting condition, as they say, but I don't agree with that term. I like to say compatible life and love, as the saying goes. So we had that conversation, and I just stood up and I said, "I'm already lost another child, and I'm not going to lose another child just because you think of her diagnosis that she isn't worth fighting for," I said. And with that then they agreed to try one more thing, and so Ayla was either going to get a tracheostomy, or which is an airway in her throat, or then she got what was called an MPA, so it's just a little breathing tube in her nose, and that helped Ayla to breathe then for she had that for 2 months and got it out then in June. And so they agreed that Ayla's life was worth living. And then even actually to this day, actually only about maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I had a doctor come up to me and said that they were wrong, that they should have never said that, which is honestly like music to my ears, because kids with disabilities, it doesn't matter what it is, like their lives are worth living, then they shouldn't be given up just because what's written in a book. It doesn't go for every children. Every child is different, and it doesn't matter what sort of diagnosis they have. They should be loved and supported, and with a bit of a support, these children can survive and grow. And I think that's what was so important for me to show Ayla's story, that she isn't just a number or a statistic in a book, that she is her own person and she has a story to tell, and that if you give these kids a chance, that they can surprise you beyond measures. And they have so much to, like, they teach people so much. Like, everyone who meets Ayla, they fall in love with her. Like, she has a magic power. That's what they all say to me. She wins over the hearts of everyone she meets, and that's what most kids with the disabilities do. Like, they are the happiest, and they do, like, they don't smile all the time as people think, like, just because they have Down syndrome or they're seen that they're happy all the time. They have every emotion that we have. Like, it doesn't make them any different or the exact same as we are. Yes, they have a chromosome abnormality or a genetic condition, but it doesn't make them any different. They're still human beings, and to give up on someone just because they have a disability or a diagnosis or a chromosome abnormality, like, I just think that's so wrong, because how can you give up on something so precious? Like, for me, it's a joy to be Ayla's mum. Yes, there's days where it's hard, and that I mightn't want to get up out of bed, but one smile out of her or a hug, it makes everything so much better. She is literally the light of my life, and I always say that Ayla saved me in so many ways. Like, she made me such a better person. Like, I was in a dark space before I had Ayla. She's literally the light of my life, and actually her name Ayla means halo of light around the moon, so I think it's very fitting that she is the light of my life and the light of everyone's life who she meets, because she's just such a joy to be around, and she's happy, and she can't talk yet, but she is starting to walk, and she's able to bum shuffle, and she can pick up toys, and Ayla has her own way of letting you know if she wants something or what she likes. Like, she loves Alvin and the Chipmunks, and if you turn Alvin and the Chipmunks on, she'll let you know that she wants it back on, and loves music and just loves interacting with people, just loves people. So yeah, these kids are amazing, so if you just give them the chance, then I promise you they won't let you down. Oh, ready? You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take